Hello and welcome to another out of spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing in Northern Colorado. Today in front of me here, I have a 2023 Dodge Challenger SRT Demon 170 edition. There's only 3,000 of these coming to the United States. And I wanted to show off a little bit about how this particular car was delivered from the factory. I'm seeing lots of imperfections in the paint. I'll give you a little background on my history as a professional detailer and really take you around this and show you that there are a ton of imperfections on this Dodge Challenger Demon 170. Let's jump into it. For the past 10 years, I have really been honing my craft as a professional detailer. Really what I focus on a lot here at the shop, here at Clear Detailing, is doing very extensive paint corrections, polishing, and ceramic coatings. That is really my niche, getting paint to an absolutely perfect level. Now, throughout the years, of course, I've worked on a ton of different vehicles. Some brand new, some older, but typically I'm working on brand new vehicles that are coming in for a new car prep, talking paint correction, polishes, all the ceramic coatings and everything like that. So I get an interesting look at how cars are delivered. Now, this Demon 170 has been on a wait for a little while. You know the UAW strikes? Well, that did affect, of course, this particular car. Now this car was delivered to a dealership down in Texas. Now these being rare and somewhat limited, if you will, there are a few things that go around with this. First of all, ordering them is quite a challenge, so finding an allocation was really hard for my customer. One thing that I did on this though, after I got it washed, like I said, coming in for the detail, is took out my SCANGRIP light and started looking around it. Like I said, I have a ton of experience with all types of manufacturers, from Audi, from Mercedes to Porsche, Tesla, Rivian, you know, even vehicles like Ferraris and Lamborghinis. And you see a lot of different patterns throughout these different manufacturers. Some have a lot of work that they actually do at the factory, which is what is happening with this particular Demon. So I'm seeing lots of rotary marks, lots of sanding marks, lots of DA polishing marks that really don't look good and is quite shocking for a brand new vehicle. I get the question all the time, why do you spend 40 to 50 hours on a brand new car? I don't understand, it's brand new. Well, paint can be quite finicky. And typically a mass-produced vehicle like the Challenger, they go through the assembly line, they're taking out little paint nibs or polishing areas that they may see during their quality control. They don't have 40 to 50 hours to spend like I do as a professional detailer. So that's why you see a lot of these imperfections. Number two, as far as imperfections, is your dealership. Now this is somewhat of a challenging and tricky conversation to have. I started my detailing career working for a dealership, which was an Audi, Porsche, and Volkswagen store in Fort Collins, Colorado here. Now, me as a professional detailer would take brand new vehicles, bring them to the shop, do the paint corrections, do the ceramic coatings, but the wash bay was always hampering how the vehicles looked. You see, the issue with this is a car comes in, the customer wants their car now. It's a new car, I'm pumped for it. They have no time. A lot of the folks that are working back there, unfortunately, are not paid to be professional detailers. They are quickly coming in here, rinsing these things off, sometimes with brushes, taking chamois that have been all over the ground and not properly washing vehicles. This car was prepped by the dealership, and we see a lot of those love marks and scratches on here. So basically, I want to take you through a whole tour of the Demon 170 here and show you my findings, because I think you're going to be quite shocked what a brand new Dodge Challenger over $100,000 actually looks like. Now you may be looking through your screen right now going, I don't know what this guy is talking about. This thing looks phenomenal. And I would agree with you. The lighting in here does showcase a lot of really nice angles on the paint, and it makes it look like it was freshly detailed. All I have done to this car is just washed it. It is coming in, like I said, for paint correction and coating. Now the tricky thing with this lighting is it's really meant for detailing, not necessarily seeing scratches or sanding marks. Now on a black colored vehicle, it's very easy to see it. but how the light refracts back into your eyes here, it actually looks quite nice. I would 1000% agree with you here on camera. Even walking around it in person, the paint looks glossy, it doesn't look dirty or anything like that. But there are tons and tons of hidden imperfections. So once again, these lights really for detailing. Now, when we get into paint correction, there's really two ways to see it. One of the best way is to take your vehicle outside and look at the paint, looking at that light source, i.e. the sun. Now, what you'll typically see is quite a few swirl marks and some love marks here and there. That's all fine and dandy. The tricky thing with the sun is you can't move it. You gotta wait all day for the sun to move in different angles so you can see that down the side of the vehicle, on the rear bumper, and at the roof. Now, the thing that we use here as professional detailers is this. This is a SCANGRIP light. The nice thing with this is it's basically a handheld sun, if you will. So this mimics the sun, has a very same color temperature here, but I can move it around the vehicle. The important thing when you're looking for scratches is you want to have a single light source, or maybe 2 or 3. But as I can show you right here, see how the paint looks great? And then tons of little DA marks. That is littered on this entire vehicle. So the best way for me to showcase this is to turn off all the lights. We're gonna bring out the SCANGRIP light here. I'm gonna walk you through the car and show you all of these insane imperfections that I'm seeing on a brand new $100,000+ Dodge Challenger. Now, these videos are always a little challenging to film by myself and get the camera angles right, so please be patient with me here. It is tricky. So what I want you to look at here is this single light source, and I want you to look around it. Now, as I move around the paint here, you'll see some lines, some water spots here and there. Those lines are scratches. Now, as I move into an area like this, do you see all of that haze as I move the light around? This right here is all rotary trails. So typically we talk about rotary trails being a type of polishing machine that does not orbit. It is a single rotation on here, and it makes these marks that look exactly like this. So keep that in mind, because you're going to be seeing quite a few of these all over the Demon here. Now, again, picking up those light sources, look right above and right below that light source. You can see quite a bit more scratches. Here on the hood, quite a few scratches as well. Some really deep ones on the leading edge of the hood as I move this around. So notice how this spot gets very cloudy, and you can see a bunch of little kind of haze around it. That is what we call DA haze. That is our second type of polisher. Basically, it oscillates and orbits, sometimes in random orbital. So you'll get marks like this if you're not using the correct polish, too much pressure, too much heat. That's really what it's all about. Look in this area right here, how heavy these scratches are here on the front of the hood. Holy smokes. So it seems to me like there was something sitting on here. The dealer cleaned that off, probably with a dirty towel, and rubbed quite a few scratches into it. Now, one area that I noticed was really, really bad was this front bumper. I do apologize, the light here is going to make this look orange and yellow, but check this spot out here. So again, over here, pretty decently nice paint, not a ton of scratches. As I move this light source around, rotary trails for days. Down here, you can actually see a sanding mark in this particular area here that is completely left alone. That looks really, really bad. Now, are these hard to take out? Well, yes and no. A lot of the times I spend, like I said, 30 to 40 hours, sometimes 50 hours on a brand new vehicle. The big chunk of time in that is just on the paint alone, compounding and polishing and refining and refining. So over here on the other side, same exact case. You can see some scuffing going on here. Down the other side, lots of rotary trails in this area. Again, looking okay, a few scratches here and there, and then boom, tons and tons of stuff. So let's keep walking ourselves around the vehicle here and see what else we can find. Lots of little scratches, imperfections here on the paint, something that I would expect to see from a dealer prepped vehicle. A lot of guys are very OCD like myself. When they get a brand new vehicle, they ask it Not to be washed, not to be PDI'd as far as the detailing aspect, but if you do get it washed, a lot of the times this is what your paint actually looks like. Now up here on the edge of the hood, yep, can still see some more deeper scratches in there. Hopefully you guys are being able to see those quite all right, but yeah, quite a bit of imperfections there to say the least. Now as I move down this front fender here, I want you to notice this area right here. This is quite a bit of pigtails, so some sanding was going on here, and then I'm also noticing a little bit of rotary and a little bit of DA haze. Again, it's very, very hard to film these, so I hope you guys can see that. Now here on the mirror, you're gonna see a lot of DA haze, or basically leading door up here. So all of this area, again, look at that light source, move this over, DA haze for days. Now, as I move back here, see that dry spot right there, right around that light? That is a sanding mark left completely unpolished. Again, you just saw me walk around this car. I bet you didn't see that, but if this thing was outside, you would 100% see that. Now, an area here that surprises me right above the wheel and tire is this area. Now this is dried clear coat, so I'm not sure if this has been resprayed at one point or if this was not finished down properly, but you can see the texturing in here. It should look more like this, not all like that. Does not look good in any regard. I could see this with the lights on. I didn't point it out. I'm happy to show you guys after, but that is not very impressive there. Now as I move down the side, more polishing marks in this area just to the left of the Demon 170 logo. And down here, looks like we have in this particular area more of that dried up clear coat where it's not very shiny and looks quite odd. Moving down the door here, you'll see a few scratches here and there, nothing that I'm too concerned with. Get to the door handle, this is very common on vehicles. Some heavier scratches on that following edge there. Down here, yet again, more polishing marks from a DA. Now you're probably wondering, well, it's got some water spots all over it. Typically after I wash the car, I go through, do an isopropyl alcohol or somewhat of a alcohol bath on the vehicle, spraying that on there, getting any waxes, polishes, anything like that off, but we can see it quite well on here. Now as I move back here, see that spot? Another polishing spot. It's insane how much work they are doing on this. This all takes time for Dodge to do, which is just crazy to me. Now looking down here, this all looks pretty good. This fender actually looks really, really nice. Probably one of the best areas on the vehicle. Up here, some serious scuffing. Notice that big scratch right there. You can see it, it's a little bit black. Some heavy, heavy scratching down there as well. Moving to the fuel door, moving along, can definitely see some more polishing going on here. Boop, see that? So that area was left unfinished. Probably a compound, I'm not exactly sure. We'll see once I actually get polishing and paint correcting on this, what it's looking like. This area back here on this rear fender, big scratch down the side, tons of scratches going north and south there. Not looking too good in my personal opinion. Looking down here, yeah, tons of heavy scratches in this particular area. Wow, wow, wow. Trunk lid's looking not great here. Some more polishing going on here. Some really heavy scratches in this particular area. Wow, okay. So this car was tinted also, just if you're wondering there why the window is so dark. A lot of these scratches could have come from the tinter as well. Let's just look in this particular area. So right here, we've got a nice big scuff in the paint. That could be from, the owner of this particular vehicle. So just keep that in mind. We're gonna get all of that polished out. Now this area, moving down the side here, this rear quarter panel, holy smokes, tons and tons of scratches. Let me zoom in here to see if I can help you showcase this off a little bit better. All those scratches in there, tons and tons of them. This was that spot I pointed out before. That's what DA haze really looks like. So that should be crystal clear around there, and you just see a bunch of haze and then more scratches in this area, more scratches here on the trunk lid. Wow, pretty wild. Now let's check out this rear fender because I'm seeing more rotary trails. Isn't this wild, guys? I really hope you appreciate this because Very hard to film, but it's yeah, very wild to say the least, I would say. Now, it almost looks like here we have a little bit of almost clear coat failure right here in this particular area at that light source. Very, very dull. We'll see how that comes out, but it's definitely different color. Could just be a sanding mark, but yeah, wow, okay. More scratches up here in this particular area on the rear fender. Not looking great. As I move down the vehicle now to the passenger side door, quite a few scratches around the door handle. Nothing that I would say is out of the ordinary. Let me go back to 1x zoom, and more and more and more and more scratches. Wow, it's truly unbelievable how these cars come in brand new. So if you're ever wondering, does my brand new car need a paint correction and polishing? Well, I'm showing that to you here. So here on the A-pillar, lots of scratches. Boom, more DA haze. Now let's look down this door and see what we can find. More sanding right here. Actually finished out okay, not great. This area, boom, more DA haze. It's truly insane how much time they're spending on these. I would not expect that from Dodge here. Now this is an interesting area. So as I move the light on the door, once we hit that edge, again, more DA haze, really getting after it there on that edge, which is not a nice thing to see whatsoever. Around the Demon emblem, looking good here. I'm not seeing any clear coat issues over here. Yet again, more haze. Holy smokes, Dodge. You guys need to get this figured out. I know these are the outgoing Challengers here, but man, you're paying a lot of money for these cars and they don't look great. Look at the deep scratches in there as well. Now, just spending more and more time here with the Demon 170, it's quite surprising how many imperfections are in this paint. And I'm sure a lot of you are asking, is this normal? I would say this is a little bit above average as far as how many rotary marks are on here, and more importantly, how many DA polishing marks are on here. Now, again, I'm not sure if that's DA compounding, if it's DA polishing. We'll see once I get into this paint if it's a little bit on the hard side or soft side. Typically soft paint, you're gonna see a lot more imperfections like we saw, but they may be compounding. I don't typically work on a ton of Dodges, but I wanted to bring you along and showcase this. I get a lot of comments on this channel when we do build quality reviews of new EVs and things like that. My Dodge is put together way better. The paint's perfect on it. It's not. It's really, really not. So I would say this has a lot of the same imperfections. I would say there's a little bit more work they're doing, at least at the factory. The dealership who prepped this, their wash bay is pretty average from what I see from dealership wash bays. I just say, if you can avoid it at all costs, please avoid it. There's some caveats with that. With a new car, a special vehicle like this, that they need to make sure there's no dents, there's no large scratches on it, and that the car came in as expected, if you will. So my thoughts on this, very imperfect. We have a lot of work ahead of us in the next couple of days to get the paint absolutely dialed in and then get it protected. But I hope you found this interesting, because not all manufacturers have perfect paint. I have yet to see one with perfect paint. Like I said, I've worked on Ferraris, I've worked on Lamborghinis, I've worked on Audis and Porsches and Mercedes and Teslas and Rivians. They all have their own amount of imperfections, but I would say this one seriously needs some heavy work. Thanks for joining us on another out of spec detailing video. We'll see you in the next one soon. Bye-bye.